Jade Cargill may not be back yet, but the story around her is advancing in some pretty big ways, so let's see what's new here. Starting things off with everything from the February 24th edition of Monday Night Raw. This was the edition of Raw where Liv and Raquel were finally getting their tag team titles opportunity after pinning Bianca and Naomi a few weeks back. A lot of fans were suspicious that a title change could happen in this spot. It's something that we did discuss a lot here on WrestlingWorldCC, so how did it all go down? This tag team titles match between Bianca and Naomi versus Liv and Raquel was the main event of the night. And of course, when a match like this is in the main event spot, it's definitely a good sign and indicator that something big is going to happen. So we get to this main event spot, and the match kicks off instantly with a very notable moment. While introductions were still going on and getting wrapped up, Naomi and Bianca cheap-shotted Liv and Raquel and attacked them before the bell even rang. Not something that you usually see from a traditional babyface team. Definitely out of the norm there. But the reasoning for the cheap attack from the babyface team is fueled by the narrative that Bianca and Naomi believe that Liv and Raquel attacked Jade Cargill. So it's because of that belief right there that we see Bianca and Naomi pull off this cheap pre-match attack. It's out of character and not something they would usually do towards an opponent as a babyface team. But since they believe Liv and Raquel brutally attacked Jade Cargill, they felt like it was perfectly within reason to hit them with that pre-match beatdown. It's also possible that this pre-match attack from Bianca and Naomi could be a low-key hint as well, and here's why. If you go back and watch Bianca and Naomi beat down Liv and Raquel before the match started, you'll notice that both Bianca and Naomi were absolutely brutal with how they took out Liv and Raquel in this ambush fashion. They threw Liv over the barricade. They launched Raquel into the timekeeper area with so much force. That display of pure power and strength there from Bianca and Naomi is a clear hint that either of them very easily could have taken out Jade Cargill as well, with that same amount of intensity they showed here during this pre-match attack on Raw. If Bianca and Naomi could easily toss Raquel Rodriguez, one of the taller women on the roster, all over the place like that, it really makes you just sit back and wonder about what either Naomi or Bianca could have done to Jade Cargill, who is a few inches shorter than Raquel. The way Bianca and Naomi just pulled off that ambush attack on Liv and Raquel, it just looked too perfect and suspicious. It's almost as if Bianca and Naomi are experts at attacking people when they least expect it. Very interesting food for thought there, but the match eventually breaks out into several big spots and false finishes all over the place. Dominic Mysterio even makes his way to the ring to keep his promise and assist Liv and Raquel in any way that he can. And finally, thanks to a lot of interference and cheating, Liv Morgan is able to pin Naomi to win the tag team titles for her team. It's a historic win for Liv Morgan and Raquel. It's the first time that same team has won the titles together on 3 separate occasions. It's a big win for Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day. Elevates them back up, but obviously our focus here is with the Jade Cargill storyline. How does this loss directly impact that story? Well, we see Bianca and Naomi absolutely gutted and defeated as Liv and Raquel were celebrating with the titles. And this is a moment that we previously discussed several times over the last few weeks and how it had to happen. And this is obviously Bianca and Naomi's slow fall from grace. Everything has been a little bit too perfect for Bianca and Naomi in recent months. Jade Cargill brutally goes down, but that conveniently enough opens up the door for Naomi to team with Bianca and hold the tag team titles with her. Their best friend was nearly destroyed, but they moved on pretty fast and didn't really care to look that much into the situation. Instead of investigating the tragedy of what happened to their friend, they were instead busy making matching gears and creating TikTok videos with each other. They had the titles, they had the gold, and everyone was buying the false narrative that Liv and Raquel did the attack on Jade Cargill. Things were just going way too perfectly for Bianca and Naomi, so this fall from that high was definitely needed. It feels like losing the tag team titles is definitely going to be the big factor that just opens up the floodgates now for the truth about what's going on here. No more parading around with the titles, they're gone now, and it feels like this loss is going to be what leads to bigger parts of the puzzle revealing themselves. We saw Bianca and Naomi at all-time highs since November. Now we could see them going through some lows here real soon, and those lows could include some forms of miscommunication and frustration amongst their team, and it could also include more hints about the reveal of the Jade Cargill attack. Liv and Raquel simply did not do the attack on Jade Cargill. Even with the February 24th edition of Raw, there was a private backstage segment with the Judgment Day where Liv Morgan flat out tells the entire group that they had nothing to do with the Jade Cargill attack. And like we always say, Liv is a heel, so how can you trust what she says? Well, in this specific instance, it just seems like the truth is coming from Liv. Sure, there's a camera in the room, but it's a private moment with the Judgment Day, with her family. Liv has no reason to lie to them. If she did the attack on Jade Cargill, that private moment there with her family would have been the spot to freely share it. But the way Liv denied it, even behind closed doors in a private moment with the Judgment Day, you sort of feel like you gotta take Liv's word here. They had nothing to do with the attack, which once again leaves us back to where the investigation first started at, and that's with us looking directly at just Bianca and Naomi. Some fans in the community were a bit bummed out to not see Jade Cargill return in the closing moments of the February 24th edition of Raw to cost Bianca and Naomi the titles. It definitely would have been a nice way to handle everything, because you would have had Jade Cargill returning, revealing that Naomi and Bianca attacked her and costing them the titles all in a matter of seconds. That definitely would have been an explosive moment, no doubt about it. But don't lose hope on Jade's return quite yet. It definitely seems like her return is literally happening any day now. There were even lots of clues of this being the case during Raw. For the first time in nearly 3 months, WWE aired the footage of what happened to Jade Cargill with the attack from back in November. Plus, commentary made sure to mention Jade Cargill's name several times during the main event match. Between showing the old footage and mentioning her name, it definitely seems like WWE is refreshing the audience's minds in preparing of Jade Cargill's upcoming return. So that surely appeared to be the hidden agenda there, with showing that footage and constantly making mention of Jade's name on Raw. So the return didn't happen here in this spot, but a theory that's continuing to grow in popularity is the idea of Jade Cargill returning during the Elimination Chamber event and doing something to get involved in the Women's Chamber match. That's something that more and more fans are discussing, and it's very interesting. And assuming that Bianca or Naomi was the individual behind the attack, the Elimination Chamber is kind of a dream scenario for Jade Cargill, because she can potentially attack someone, take their spot, and then slam that chamber door shut behind her, basically locking herself inside of a cage with her attacker, with nowhere for them to run or hide to. They have to now deal with Jade Cargill face to face inside the chamber, so you can see that being a possibility as well. So is it Bianca? Is it Naomi? Is it the both of them behind the attack? We obviously still don't know, but you can definitely see it going a lot different ways. If Bianca wins the chamber and is on her way of facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, does that mean that Naomi was the attacker after all, and Jade Cargill will enter a full feud with Naomi? There's still a little room for some extra twists and turns, but one thing about the mystery that seems for certain is that surely it was Bianca and Naomi, or the both of them. Nothing else really makes sense at this point in time.
But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.